Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm about to tell you one of the most shocking true crime stories in American history. A story where justice failed so brutally that it destroyed a man's life until one tiny strand of DNA rewrote everything. But before we begin, let me ask you something. What happens when the justice system is so sure, yet so wrong? How many innocent people are sitting behind bars right now? And how does a single molecule of DNA become more powerful than a courtroom full of witnesses? Stay with me, because today's case will shake your belief in justice. This is the real story of Kirk Noble Bloodsworth, a man who went from death row to becoming the first American in history to be exonerated through DNA evidence. Our story begins in Baltimore County, Maryland, in the summer of 1984. A quiet neighborhood, a warm evening, and an unspeakable crime. On July 25th, the body of 9-year-old Dawn Hamilton was discovered near a wooded area by the pond in Rosedale. The entire community was terrified. Police needed a suspect. Fast. And when investigators rush, mistakes are born. Witnesses said they saw a tall man with blonde hair talking to the girl shortly before she disappeared. None of them got a clear look, none of them heard a full conversation, but fear was spreading and the police were desperate. Then someone mentioned a name, Kirk Bloodsworth, a former Marine who lived nearby and happened to resemble the vague description. He had no criminal record, no connection to the victim, nothing linking him to the crime. But when fear becomes evidence, truth becomes blurry. They brought him in. They showed his picture to witnesses, not in a fair lineup, but in ways that nudged their memories. Within hours, the identifications lined up against him. But here's the mystery. No physical evidence linked Kirk to the murder. No fingerprints, no footprints, no blood, nothing. Still, the prosecution built a narrative. He was near the area, he fit the description, he acted nervous. Sometimes the smallest assumptions create the biggest disasters. During the trial, prosecutors confidently told the jury that Kirk Bloodsworth was the killer. They used emotional testimony, unclear eyewitness accounts, and the pressure of a grieving community. The jury had no DNA testing to rely on because in 1984, forensic science was still in its early days. And so the verdict fell like a hammer. Guilty. Sentence: death. A completely innocent man was sent to death row based on faulty identification and fear-driven judgment. Inside the cold walls of the Maryland penitentiary, Kirk spent years insisting, "I didn't do it." But who listens to a man condemned to die? Yet he never stopped fighting. He wrote letters, he begged for new tests, he prayed that science would catch up before the clock ran out. Then, a twist. By the early 1990s, DNA testing had advanced dramatically. Evidence from the crime, the victim's underwear, was still preserved. Kirk pushed relentlessly for DNA testing. Prosecutors resisted at first, but eventually, under public pressure, they agreed. The tests were performed in 1993, and the result hit like an earthquake. The DNA did not match Kirk Bloodsworth. He was innocent. Entirely, unquestionably innocent. After almost 9 years behind bars, 2 of them on death row, he was officially exonerated. In 1993, he walked out a free man, becoming the first person in U.S. history to be sentenced to death and then freed because of DNA evidence. But the case wasn't over. Years later, in 2003, new technology identified the real killer, Kimberly Shay Ruffner, a man who had been in prison the entire time on another charge, in the same facility as Kirk. The true murderer had been only 1 cell block away from the innocent man he replaced. The justice system had failed on every level. Ruffner eventually confessed, closing a chapter that should never have been opened against Kirk at all. He received life in prison for the crime. And what about Kirk Bloodsworth? He rebuilt his life, became a national advocate for wrongful conviction reform, and dedicated himself to ensuring no one else suffers what he did. But the scars? Those never truly go away. So friends, what do you think after hearing this story? Do you believe eyewitnesses should still be trusted? Should every case before 1990 be reinvestigated with DNA? Tell me in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more true crime stories.